hey, I'm going to show you something in Hosea, and look, this isn't like a whole overview of the book. Um, though I do find the book very interesting, but I just want to talk about basically one thing. These hyperdispensational types where they think that Jews in the Old Testament were saved by works, right? Well, here I am in Hosea, which was the time of the Old Testament, and the second verse in the book of Hosea, right? And remember, like people like the Ruckmanites want to tell you that Jews in the Old Testament were saved by works, right? They'll call it faith and works, but what they're really saying is works, right? Because either it's faith or works. It's not. You can't mix them, right? And of course, look, everybody's saved by faith alone. But look, the Ruckmanites and the hyperdispensational types, they think that people in the Old Testament were saved by works, okay? And this is just one of many, many ways to disprove it, okay? So, what does God tell Hosea in verse 2 in Hosea chapter 1? Right? The beginning of the word of the Lord to Hosea. And the Lord said to Hosea, Go, take unto thee a wife of whoredoms and children of whoredoms. Okay, why? For the land hath committed great whoredom, departing from the Lord. So, how does this book start? God calls a guy named Hosea, okay, the son of Beri, right? He calls the guy Hosea, and he tells Hosea, go find yourself a whore and wife her up because, because Israel is committing great whoredom, departing from me. Right? So this is how I feel, Hosea. is basically what God's saying. He's like, this is how I feel, and I'm going to use you as an illustration to show how disgusting Israel's behavior is. Right? And this is also, you keep reading, there's like a bunch of imagery of how Israel is whored around, but God's the one taking care of them. Meanwhile they're whoring around, and Hosea, he's like taking care of his wife, and meanwhile she's just like whoring around, and he has to go looking for her, things like that. But look, if people in the Old Testament, how about just Hosea, right? If people in Hosea were saved by works, then you're telling me that the great works that they're doing is whoring around, departing from the Lord? Do you see what I mean when I say that, like Ruckmanites are crazy? Man,